Peace and blessings to all of God's children. I pray this finds you well. It's a beautiful day here in Nashville, Tennessee today. I mean, it's really nice, but unfortunately, I'm not going to get a chance to go out there and stand in the sun and enhance my melanation and all that good stuff. Today, I have matters to attend to that require my presence inside. But what I want to speak to you about, I had a conversation. I am blessed to still have childhood friends. I'm talking about, we've been knowing each other for over 60 years. You know, our lives have went in all different directions, but it's good sometimes, and that's what I want to talk about, to look back. As they said, our hindsight is 20/20 vision. And when you're sitting down with good friends, yeah, I mean, it was a time me and these old friends, I mean, boys, we fought. And I'm here to tell you, I think that's why we're still friends today. I mean, I know it's all under God's providence, His purpose and His will, but when you get to look back with hindsight, which is 20/20, through a child's eyes, and later as we were commonly referred to as elders, man, that's something I think is worth coming in here and making this video to speak to how my friend and I say when we look at youth, we see our past. And when the youth look at us, they do see their future. It's incumbent upon us. And parents, I'm not beating up on you, but it's incumbent for us to really watch what we doing, what we say around our children. I mean, we know it's a lot of things now that's commonly accepted and this and that. And yes, when my sister and I was growing up, it was common, you do something, you're going to get that backside burn up. It was times I had my mother so angry, the neighbors had to come pull off me, but I mean, I still had to travel the journey I had to turn on, But the conflict is, as an elder and knowing what I know now and knowing what my friend knows now, and my sister, I'm including that too, because we talk about this so often, the things. My sister was raised in a different home than I was. The home I lived in, it was stable. I had a father in there. They named me after him and everything. But he passed away when I was very young. But I remember to this day, I mean, all them years ago, from when I was like 2 years old, he kept me with him. He took me with him. Now, he was an older man. He was much older than the lady I was calling my mother. Her name was Lorraine. But I could feel as a child, he loved me being with him. Now, that's necessary, especially a son. He needs to be around his father, and little girls need to be around their mother. There's things through observation, as I said, mother wisdom that we learn, the home after the father figure passed away. His name was Charles Stevenson. When he passed away, the home thing got a little wild. My mother, she was, illiterate and everything, but she's a good woman. She was a strong black woman. But she gave way to, some things. She started drinking and everything. And that culture, see, drugs and everything is a big thing. Now, and drugs was around then, but we was in a little small town, and everything. But it was going on in that town, and especially with alcohol. But when that happened, I pretty much grew up a little too fast. I was around things, exposed to things that, looking back now through 20/20 vision, I can say I didn't need to be. Now, I'm not, no, don't get it twisted. I'm not blaming that now. I'm standing in a position now. I'm declaring to you that through my spirit, it was all necessary for me to be where I'm at right here today. But the travel, see, the journey is not so revealing. See, looking back is 2020, but when you traveling ahead into that thing, or walking into your fullness, as they say, uh, it's a lot of challenges, a lot of tests there. You're going to fail some, you're going to lose some. But my advice as an elder to youth, because you lose a battle, don't mean you're going to lose the war. We learn how to fight, not by beating everybody that comes in front of us, but by learning from those who put that whipping on us to make us say, I'm not going to never let this joker get out on me like that. Yeah, you got me this time, yeah. And that's something else. I noticed this, this is not, it's a recent realization, even while I was in prison. People now, I don't care what you're saying out your mouth, they don't know how to take a good butt whipping. They can't take it. I mean, that's why you got people right now that quick to tell on you. Snitching, it's like it was, like it is. And see, people also do what they do because they feel as though there's no penalty with it. They feel like, oh, well, ain't nobody, everybody doing it, so ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. But speaking to the character aspect of it, it makes a weak man to not go through the process. Now, I know exceptional people that are just born with gifts. I mean, just come, and I've met some of them in my life. But I'm saying how I can only give a testimony here to you about me. How I learned to fight was by me losing so many pounds. I remember time both my eyes were swollen up. Now, the darkness around my eyes, this is a trait, a genetic trait in my family. I mean, we are women, men, all of us as some. But there were fights. I got some vicious beatdowns. I mean, and like I was saying, my mother, she did not spare the rod on me. The neighbors, a number of times, I can't even remember how many times, they had to come pull off and say, no, you're going to kill him. And she'll be saying, no, he's an actor. He know he hollering and screaming, y'all gonna come in. He know what he was doing. And you know what, she was right. I was aware of what I was doing. But that was the climate then, and that's what I came up through. But what I wanted to talk to you about is this age that I came up into. See, TV now, I mean, everybody, you got on your phone, I mean, everybody. My sister, I think my sister's got a TV in every room in her house, not the bathroom, but every room in her house. But coming up, see, we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. The information was controlled through parenting. I ain't gonna say it was better or worse. I mean, parenting is a matter of whatever, age a family's in, but they kept certain things away from us. But when you got a TV in your home, it was nothing in the little community. It might be 8, 10, 12 people and kids laying on. We coming to watch a TV. Everybody didn't have one. And we had black and white TVs for a long time. But it didn't make no difference. It was a community event. And some families, depending on whose home you was in, they would cook for you and everything. My sister, you eating at everybody's house. But it was what was going on during that time that we was exposed to. And people still had a hospital air. Now, like I said, the way world is now, I mean, you can't have everybody in your house like it. But this was a different time. It was a different space. You got to remember that John Kennedy, when he was assassinated in 1963, it was all the pictures in black and white. I mean, I think they colorized them and everything later. But black and white, or silver tone as they referred to it at that time, that was just order of the day. TV stations are still on all night. They went off, and they had a little signal thing that went off in them. But listen, this ain't no tales of Lake Wobegon back in the past. We would come to neighbors' houses. It was a social event just to watch TV. But why I'm bringing this up, I was talking to my friend And looking back now, from where I'm at now, the social issues, the historical, and way everything's lined up, that was where my generation and me, that's where I started shaping my mind around the images in that TV. I actually thought I was Leave It to Beaver. Now, you got to remember, it wasn't a lot of black people on TV then. And if they was on there, it was some type of buffoonery. Like Jack Bennett, he had a guy on there named Rochester. And Jack Bennett called, Mr. Bennett. You know, I mean, just eyes bulging, laughing when ain't nothing funny. I mean, you name it. Straight buffoonery. And, looking back now, I can say honestly, that a lot of the unreasonable decisions, and I'm not blaming this on people, and I'm talking about me and how my mind was shaped through that live vision. I was sitting there watching Lassie, cowboy movies, ain't nothing in there but white cowboys. I think maybe one or two shows might have had one riding through there. He was doing something. He's escaped slaves, but you didn't see a bunch of black folks in there. So my mind shaped itself around what I was looking at. As I said, mother wisdom, we do that through observation. Now, I'm a kid and I'm having fun, so I'm not knowing all these deep psychological conditionings and behavior modifications and all that. But it was going on then on the TV. So here I come up in life thinking I'm entitled to say, "Well, I seen it on TV." And boy, we know that was a lie. We know that was a lie. I had no concept. The life I went through, I discovered that it wasn't the laws, because I came up thinking they need to change the laws, change that. It's not the laws. It's how the laws are enforced. Do they entitle you or disenfranchise you? And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this imagery. It's a lot of my people that look like me. When I be around them and observe their behavior and look in their eyes, I mean, I don't care how dark they are. I don't care how Afrocentric they looking on the outside. When I look into that inner person, I see a European. No. I'm not saying that person is calling themselves that. I'm saying that their behavior, their ideas of success and failure is based on a sliding scale commonly found in those who have power in this country. And I'm going to let you figure that out for what it is. And like myself, my criminal inclinations were developed through my anger, my felt of being disenfranchised, being, kicked to the side. I didn't have the mental reasoning at that time to see it as such. But I felt like I should have a seat at this table. See, I wasn't a student of history then. I didn't even have the complete academic knowledge there, because I would go to school. That's what me and my friend was talking about. We'd sit up in class, and him and I both had a high ability or acumen to learn, but we would run through the lessons, and we loved reading. So we was always ahead of the class. But that was making a lot of times for mischief in the class, so I stayed in trouble, going to the principal's office, you name it. But it was because, as they say in this modern climate, we were overqualified. But it didn't go like that. We had all the social agitations, the kids making mockeries, always being in trouble, and a lot of those teachers knew what potential we had, and they were struggling with us to try to get us on the right path, but we wasn't having it. But as children, him and I was laughing at that childish perception we had. Now, getting back to how these things, especially the laws, You know, we thought the civil rights law was going to do this and that, and we see what happened with that. Here's the problem. Now, I'm speaking from my point of view from where I'm at now. Looking back over that, the historical examination of it, we were asking for equal rights and justice. Okay, we never asked for integration per se. Integration was what the power struggle heard and fashioned to create a simulation. Yes, there was they kept the barriers up for a long time. J. Edgar Hoover, science and technology now, has discovered J. Edgar Hoover was a black man. According to this idiotic Southern white supremacy principle that if you have one drop of black blood in you, you're not pure white. I'm still waiting on somebody to find that one right there. Since science, genetics, whatever, has proved two white people can't make a black person. But a black person can create what's called an albino. Dr. Francis Chris Wilson went all into this, How could Moses, looking like Charlton Heston, stick his hand in his coat and it come out white if he was a European? See, the truth has always been there. We just haven't had the means because of our conditioning and our, as Bob said, involvement in the rat race, struggling and trying to survive. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we have assumed this inner being of something that the Creator, God, of all things, is not according to his intention. We are actually subliminally programmed to pursue that which is not what we are. And as you go back in history, see, they told us that our history was 6,000 years old. Well, my research now and everything, the concept, the whole idea of a white person, that just really started in the 18th, 17th century, somewhere in there. Before that, it was no mention. And there's other historical information. Like I said, I've searched it. You can research it. I ain't going to just get on here and just tell you anything. But this is how we were dumbed down in our educational process. It wasn't no such thing as black history in no school. You might mention a black person from time to time, but it wasn't a curriculum. So I'm looking now at all this stuff they're trying to remove, and I'm telling you that I'm seeing how they are still fighting the Civil War. They know who they are. They still fighting the Civil War. They are trying to remove you can't listen. Good luck at what you think you're going to try to do. But truth is always going to come up and knock the brains out of falsehood. You hear me? But as I look back, and I'm going to the scriptures here, Matthew 11:25, I read this scripture, and it's off the movement. At that time, Matthew chapter 11, verse 25. At that time, Jesus answered and said, I thank thee, Father, O Lord of heaven and earth, because thou have hid these things from the wise and the prudent, and has revealed them unto babes. Children, on the scriptures, children teach us how to be parents. See, parenting is not in a syllabus or a curriculum or a redundant mean of educating to address a child. Every child that comes, that's a whole new, and the parenting and the environment, all these things have to come into play. But it's a one-trick pony. That's why I said we are number one in a class of one, but in the eyes of God. Now, we get down with all these labels and titles and, all this, and we come up with something else. But children can use a 3-letter word. And like I said, a mother, who is our first teacher, teaches the child through observation. That child can kill you with one 3-letter word. Why? And that's an important, powerful word if you have the courage to go in it deeply enough to get to it. Why is the reason. We all need to, why am I here? Where did I come from? Where am I going? It opens the why. One 3-letter word. All right. Now, Mark 9:37. Whosoever shall receive one of such children in my name, receiveth me. This is Christ, Yahshua HaMashiach. And whosoever shall receive me, receiveth not me, but him that sent me. I and the Father are one. So what is going to the Father. You see what I'm saying? The triune nature, water, in its natural ability is odorless, colorless, shapeless. All right? But if you freeze it, that's a liquid. If you freeze it, it becomes a hard substance. Still water. If you put heat to it, it becomes a mist or steam. It's the triune nature of water. That's why water is a sign or symbol representative of the triune nature of God. Now, that's that on that. So what he's saying here is a child. As I said, children are here to teach us how to be parents. And I can go on to say, children are here to teach us how to be decent human beings. Because a child is going to bring something out of you that's going to make you reach a little bit beyond your sense of yourself and get humble. You got to grow with children, But I'm going to go on to Mark 10, verses 13 and 14. And they brought young children to him that he should touch them. And his disciples, they had a problem with it. They rebuked those that brought them. Verse 14. But when Jesus saw it, he was displeased. He didn't like it. And he said unto them, suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not. For of such is the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God rests upon us who keep that fire of desire in our belly to keep pursuing God as we do through measures first of a strong enough belief to give us a pathway of faith to get closer to the Most High. Y'all hear me out there? Okay. Paul in Corinthians, he said, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I become a man, I put away childish things. That's where I'm at now. I was speaking through that vision, hindsight, of the way I viewed it as a child, how I concluded, and I was 60 years old before I really started seeing how I had been molded and shaped by my own pursuit of things I thought I really needed to be. I thought I needed to be a gangster. I thought I needed to be a dope. I thought I needed to be a lot of things. And this is why I tell people now, I don't mean no harm, disrespect. I'm not interested in your labels. Show me what you're working with. Yeah, let me see you. Or as Paul says, 1 Corinthians 13, 11, and 12, like I just read when I was a child, for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even also as I am known. What is going on here with that? This is how I see it. Life is a journey through the darkness that we've placed within ourselves. We are like those old motion picture cameras. We are projecting things from the inside outside. And the motion is what we call in life. So what we must learn to do is to navigate. First, understand where this darkness, why is this glass dark? Well, it's because we don't have the light of Christ illuminating what we need to be. All right? But now, face to face, we all have this innocence. I know we practice it to some degree or not. You know, texting, talking on the call. No, I got to see you. I want to be around you. I want to stand there in your presence and let us and see where you at. That's coming face to face. That's reality. Rasta's reality. Not your theoretics, not your projections of what's going to happen in the next 200 years. You know, but now I know in part, but then shall I know even also as I am known. When we stand on equal ground and look each other in the eye with the respect of two civilized human beings, God has put in scripture, we can do great things. We can move mountains. But all this discord and division and, you know, who got on the most expensive outfit in church and who can sing the best in the choir? Come on, man. I clean toilets in a bathroom. I've enjoyed a little material success in my life. But let me tell you something. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord than to sit in the palace with an uncivilized buzzard. Peace and blessings to all of God's children. I pray you have a good day.